holiness and a love for purity because having been forgiven much, you love much. And here's something fascinating. The Talmud actually points to something that could confirm what I'm saying. You say the Talmud? That's rabbinic tradition. The rabbis didn't believe in Jesus being the Messiah. Of course, I understand that. I'm not pretending they did. But we learn this from the Talmud, that there were various traditions that arose around the Day of Atonement. For example, the priest would cast lots. We know this from Leviticus 16. He would cast lots for the goats. And if the goat for the Lord, that would be the sacrificial goat, if that came up in the right hand, that was a good sign. But if instead the goat, it was called for Azazel, the goat that would be cast off into the wilderness, if that came up in his right hand, that was a bad sign. And then the temple, the oil stand, the oil lamps, they would be lit from the westernmost across to the others. And according to tradition, if God accepted the sacrifices on the Day of Atonement, if he was pleased with the repentance of the people and he accepted the intercession of the high priest, then the candle that was lit first would be, the oil lamp that was lit first would be the last one to go out, the opposite of what should have happened. And then also, that goat that was sent out into the wilderness, a scarlet thread would be tied to its horns. Ultimately, they just threw the goat off a cliff. And then there would be a scarlet thread that would be tied around the doors of the temple. And if the sacrifices were accepted, the scarlet thread would turn white, as in Isaiah 1:18, though your sins be as scarlet, I'll make them as white as snow. And the Talmud says that there was a godly high priest, Shimon HaTzadik, Simeon the righteous, and for all the 40 years of his high priesthood, every single year, all of the atonement signs came up positive, and that meant that the sacrifices were accepted and God forgave the people. And then after his priesthood, he was a couple hundred years, whatever, before the time of Yeshua. Afterwards, some years it would be positive, some negative. When it was negative, everyone would be ashamed and grieved. But then it says this, and listen, I want to read to you from the Talmud, Yoma 39b. Listen to this. 40 years before the temple was destroyed, the lot never came into the right hand, meaning the lot for the goat for the Lord never came up in the right hand. The red wool did not become white. The western light did not burn. And the gates of the temple opened of themselves till the time that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai rebuked them, saying, Temple, temple, why do you alarm us? We know that you are destined to be destroyed. For of you has prophesied Zechariah ben Iddo, open your doors, O Lebanon, and the fire shall eat your cedars. Isn't this fascinating? Yeshua dies in 30 A.D. The temple's destroyed in 70. And the Talmud says the last 40 years before the destruction of the temple, the sacrifices on the Day of Atonement were not accepted. And the New Testament records that the veil that was separated from the holiest place, that was torn in two from the top down when the Messiah died on the cross for us, God showing that a new and better way was opened up. Could that be reflected in the temple doors, the temple doors opening of themselves? So what do we make of this? Again, those who recorded this did not believe that Jesus was the Messiah. But to me, this is a confirmation that once he died on the cross, God was saying, no more. No more of these sacrifices and offerings, because I have provided the one who fulfills the purpose of the sacrifices and offerings. The end of the old is here. The beginning of the new is here. So, my Jewish friends, either you have no atonement because the essential elements of atonement are not available to you and have not been since the year 70, or God has provided a better way through the Messiah, the righteous one, who took our place. When you turn to him with repentance and faith, God will forgive you and give you a brand new heart, and it'll be the beginning of an amazing new life.